Thank you, everyone. Fight on. I mean that on a lot of different levels. So welcome to the 2017 11th Annual Body Computing Conference. We're really happy to host this event this year. It's awesome to welcome back old friends and to embrace new ones and new ideas. So I really hope that you all come away from this day with a renewed sense of purpose. Our mission here at the Center is the same today as it was when we started 11 years ago. We are aiming to create a virtual global healthcare system that is continuous, on-demand, easily accessible, deeply personal, and affordable. Since the beginning, we've leveraged digital health to study the best performers on our planet, warfighters and professional athletes. We believe that our unique access to those groups not only helps them better understand their state of mind, their training and performance, but will eventually help all of us. I believe all these groups, chronic disease patients, people seeking wellness solutions, warfighters, athletes, have the same needs, and we are now seeing the convergence of solutions to meet those needs. It's all one thing. There are significant macro trends that are happening that make this convergence more possible than ever. Sensors placed above and below the skin are getting more accurate, smaller, cheaper. Continuous secure data streaming and storage is doable. Machine learning and AI can deliver deeply individual insights that will radically change healthcare, and healthcare's major revenue engine will become software and services. We're lucky enough to share offices with the USC Institute for Creative Technology, so I get to see every day the technologies that will change our lives for the future. From my perspective, I've seen many changes over the past year. Traditional care and tech companies, medical schools, healthcare systems, and the regulated companies that sell them products now uniformly recognize the importance of a digital health service line to ensure their own future, and they're trying to disrupt themselves. Interestingly, every major tech company has a hardware, software, or service solution that can also fundamentally change healthcare. So these groups need to work more closely together. Sensors. Sensors is one of our specialties here at the Center, and it seems like it's been a very rocky year for body-worn sensors. Look past the headlines and you'll see that sensors aren't extinct, they're just evolving. The technology, whether regulated or not, has outstripped the business model, in some ways the cultural model. Just 3 years ago, we were here celebrating with our basis friends when they were acquired by Intel. Now 3 years and billions later, Intel's out of the sensing business, and another giant, Nike, walked away from fuel ban. Hardware and software problems saw Jawbone, Pebble, and Vector leave the market, and Fitbit is experiencing a 34% year-over-year decline. Meanwhile, the Chinese giant Xiaomi is the market leader, shipping a $30 wrist-worn activity tracker. Newer players like Whoop are gaining traction in specific populations. So activity trackers are priced right at $30, and an Apple Watch has more value because it tracks and integrates with the rest of a person's smartphone-based digital life, and it itself is evolving into an ancillary smartphone. I think the Apple Watch for Health is like the first Mac. It's changing the way we use technology. In the past year, we've beaten a path down to Camp Pendleton and spent many hours with the Reconnaissance Training Company, working and thinking about how to use technology to disrupt and improve their training, but not to disrupt their culture and their ability to create a truly elite Marine warfighter. We've also worked on the specific problems of larger groups like the 2-4 Battalion. Based on our work thus far, studying and assessing the behavioral, cognitive, and physical aspects of the training, we're really excited to announce that we're embarking on a new study with Recon, using hundreds of Series 2 watches to provide insights and opportunities for trainers and trainees to assure that those who should make it through training to become reconnaissance Marines. Looking at the problem from a different angle, chronic disease management and eventually wellness, another example of a body-worn sensor that will accelerate the convergence is Abbott's Freestyle Libre continuous glucose sensor. Accurate, cheap, and integrated into a smartphone, this sensor has the potential to bridge the gap between wellness, performance, and chronic disease, and can provide all of us with the ability to look under our own hoods to optimize our performance. This convergence means it doesn't matter if it's regulated or not. Our study of the use of the AliveCore smartphone-enabled ECG sensor in over 1,100 people who are non-medical, just giving them the ability to get their EKG, has shown the public will use accurate medical-grade sensors for health and recreation regardless of age or profession. This year, we've worked in tandem with the LA 2024 Olympic Bid Committee, and we're proud to be part of LA's bid. Now in 2028, we expect to provide great entertainment and insight into what makes an Olympian different, all because of convergence in sensor technology. What about virtual care and virtual assistants? Some people think virtual assistants are the new internet. In 2015, we created the Virtual Care Clinic, a really defining conceptual model for us because this is about medical care occurring outside the walls of traditional healthcare and one that will always be accessible to people anywhere. We've made progress in this model. Just last week, our study performed in partnership with VSP Global on the use of an activity sensor built into a medical device, prescriptive eyewear, performed in our own USC employees, was published in New England Journal of Medicine Catalyst. Because VSP was willing to do the hard work of research and innovation, they'll leapfrog their competitors and help provide the next generation of connected eyewear and other products. Today, we're really excited to announce we received a $1 million grant from the AARP Foundation in conjunction with United Healthcare to forge an innovative partnership with Lyft. We're going to offer aging seniors unlimited access to Lyft rides. Millions of people miss their doctor's appointments every year, but that's only part of the senior health care problem. Lack of activity and isolation are major predictors of depression and death in our older population. My own mom, who I lost a couple of months ago, was devastated when we asked her not to drive anymore. She couldn't figure out really how to use her smartphone. She had a love-hate relationship with it anyway. And while I realized what we took from her in asking her not to drive, I never realized what it took out of her to lose that independence. So this project is super personal for me, and we're working with Lyft to make sure a landline can be used to order a car and use that opportunity to get into aging people's homes and help train them on the technology so they can be successful. Our colleagues at ICT have proven that virtual humans, VR and AR, are tools that can scale, and they're effective for treating military PTSD and building psychological resiliency before deployment. Nonetheless, AR and VR solutions for medicine are largely unproven. But in my opinion, the fact that the technology can supplement human caregivers and create captivating and immersive experience means they have incredible potential for healthcare. These are the very same reasons they could also be dangerous for healthcare. We've launched major initiatives this year to expand our use of medical VR, our virtual humans, which is previously shown, and VR solutions for very important medical problems, like depression after a major surgery or diagnosis. We're also pleased to be working with the FDA to understand how to make VR safe and effective. What about voice assistants? They're now present in hundreds of millions of American homes. Companies like Google and Amazon are just starting to release their APIs for healthcare applications. But we need to not accept them dribbling this stuff out, but to push them to give us full access to the actual voice recordings so we can really assure that we have real and personalized and robust support for people most in need, those trapped in their homes or those with cognitive or other disabilities. This includes protecting their interests and assuring that they get adequate health care at a reasonable price. Finally, cybersecurity. A year ago, I would have never predicted I'd be spending at least a third of my time on this issue. One of the guiding moral principles in medicine is primum nocere, first do no harm. And we have to take this very seriously with digital health solutions because digital scales. If you hack virtual care, you hack someone's body. This year, the first FDA and Homeland Security safety cybersecurity advisories were issued for pacemakers. And this forced us to seriously grapple with the risk-benefit of a fix, like a firmware update. Do you do a firmware update for a theoretical threat that's never occurred outside the confines of a television episode? But cybersecurity goes beyond implanted devices. What about the body-worn sensor worn by a pro athlete? Can you hack into that? Or one worn by you? How do we protect ourselves from being hacked? In the past year, we've been lucky enough to work closely with our regulated industry partners like Abbott, who's leading the way in this field, in my opinion, and also with the best cybersecurity experts our nation has to offer, like those in the CIA, Homeland Security, policy centers, and NGOs dedicated to the issue. We are super focused on virtual healthcare, and they are super focused on helping us achieve a safe environment. In that vein, we're announcing today a partnership with the California Governor Jerry Brown's Go Biz office. I'll be chairing a cybersecurity and healthcare leadership group, along with leading university, tech, healthcare, and legal experts. And we'll work hard over the next year to create guidelines and guiding principles so that our amazing state can lead in healthcare as it's led in technology. The partnership will go a long way to assure that those making, using, storing, and regulating digital health products adhere to strong and consistent cyber practices. This important work will allow us to build out the new healthcare on a solid cyber foundation that can be trusted to protect us against malicious intrusions. Okay, what's the vision? The convergence I've said is happening now. What will it look like in 2020, just 3 years from now? Imagine that everything we do from the time of birth will be part of our virtual medical record. every calorie we consume and burn, every place we go, and everyone we interact with. Using our voice or gesture, we can call up healthcare. Healthcare will also push to us to help us make the best decisions for ourselves or our loved ones. This information will be deeply personal and specific to us. We'll have trust in the data. The model will just not be the provenance of the elite, but will be available to the globe. Not a bad vision. Let's all attack this problem as one, and we'll make real change. So let's get going on the day. Sit back. We're super grateful for your presence. Thank you.